It's interesting because we're talking about Sarah Ferguson and money, but there had been rumours that she's so desperate that she could possibly do a tell-all Netflix documentary. I mean, could you shed any light on that? I mean, it doesn't sound like she needs the money based on what we've just been discussing.
Reports reveal Sarah Ferguson in talks for a massive tell-all Netflix project to expose her side of the story. But this isn't just an ordinary interview. Insiders suggest it's a calculated strike aimed right at those who pushed her out. Stick around until the end of this video, because we're uncovering the hidden details behind her shadowy financial backers and how this shocking move could force King Charles and Prince William into a public showdown. If you love staying updated on the biggest royal stories, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and join our community. It really helps the channel out. Now, let's dive into what's happening.
Paddy McNally, he only died a few weeks ago, and it was reported that he could have left Sarah Ferguson, who is, of course, his ex-girlfriend, a sizable chunk of his $1 billion fortune. What is your intel telling you? Will she even get that money?
Sarah Ferguson is playing a high-stakes financial game behind the scenes, and the exact numbers involved expose just how precarious her situation really is. For months, media outlets fueled widespread speculation that she was on the verge of a life-changing financial windfall. Her former partner, Formula One advertising mogul Paddy McNally, passed away peacefully at age 88 on July 22, 2026, after a prolonged illness. McNally had amassed a massive fortune estimated at nearly £600 million, built largely on the 2006 sale of his hospitality empire, Allsport Management, for £262 million. Initial headlines claimed Sarah Ferguson was set to inherit a substantial allowance or a massive lump sum from his estate. Commentators even pointed to his famed chalet in Verbier, Switzerland, a luxury property valued at £15 million, where she had frequently stayed over the years, as a potential permanent asset. It sounded like the ultimate financial lifeline. But royal author and historian Andrew Loney dropped a bombshell that completely flipped the script.
No, my sources say that he had the measure of her and he hasn't left her any money. I mean, took care of her in many respects. I mean, she was always staying in one of his properties, but not quite as much as I think she kind of presented. I mean, one of the suggestions that she's been staying at his home in Verbier for some time. Well, my understanding is she was only there for a week. So, I think that's been rather overplayed, and he actually got rather fed up with her, kind of sponging off him. So I'm afraid my sources are saying very, very different things to what other members of the press are being told.
Loney revealed that insider sources confirmed McNally had completely measured her character. According to Loney, McNally was a wily old bird who strictly designated his wealth for legitimate charitable causes to ensure his legacy would not be tarnished by association with the Yorks, leaving Sarah Ferguson absolutely nothing in his final will. So how is Sarah Ferguson continuing to fund an ultra-luxurious lifestyle without a royal salary or a multi-million-pound inheritance? The answer points directly to quiet offshore networks and foreign backers.
Well, I mean, she inherited her mother's ranch out there. She has friends out there. She used to go out to Argentina quite a lot. She's very good at manipulating people, getting people basically to bankroll her. And that's particularly true of the Middle East, where she's been operating, as indeed her daughters have. But I understand that there's also money coming from Argentina.
Reports indicate she has been receiving steady capital transfers originating from contacts in Argentina and high-profile donors in the Middle East. Leveraging her late mother Susan Barantis's ranch interests in South America, she has built private channels of support alongside trust funds she quietly accumulated and set aside over the years. And while commentators assumed Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was stuck under virtual house arrest in Sandringham, recent intel shows a totally different reality.
So how Andrew has been traveling. I mean, what assumes he's been sitting in Sandringham rather lonely. But in fact, and this is with the knowledge of the king, he's just come back from the south of France where I understand he's looking to buy a property.
Oh, wow. Okay. So basically he's self-banished himself. We describe it as that, from Britain.
Yes. I mean, I think we everyone assumes he's under house arrest, but I don't think his life has really changed that much for the worse. He's in a slightly smaller house. He's traveling. He's still doing business. He was accompanied in the south of France by two 40-something attractive women. So I don't think either of them are having a bad time at the moment.
With King Charles's full awareness, Andrew was recently spotted traveling through the south of France, actively scouting multi-million-dollar private real estate alongside two attractive companions in their 40s. The palace believes they've successfully managed the public optics by pushing the couple into the background. But Sarah Ferguson's real power move isn't just about collecting money off the grid. It's about what she intends to leverage that money for next. Sarah Ferguson didn't just rely on secret offshore money transfers to keep her lifestyle going. Reports suggest she used those funds to quietly run her own high-stakes business operations right under the palace's nose. When the film and theatre investment firm Gate Ventures completely collapsed into administration, High Court proceedings in London uncovered an unbelievable paper trail. While serving as a director of the company between 2017 and 2019, Sarah Ferguson was handed over £500,000 in unexplained loans. Official High Court documents showed that Gate Ventures issued a direct personal loan to her of at least £287,577. On top of that, another £232,003 was funneled straight into her private upmarket tea, dinnerware and lifestyle venture, Ginger and Moss. The company had raised more than £24.5 million from over 3,500 everyday investors, mostly across Asia. Yet, it somehow lost a staggering £19.5 million in massive corporate missteps. During High Court hearings in March 2020, lawyers pointed out that Judge Prentice was told the company was losing money hand over fist, and Gate Ventures couldn't even prove if any of that £288,000 personal loan was ever meant to be repaid. Insiders state Sarah Ferguson took part in promotional roadshows across East Asia, including high-stakes investor events in Macau, to encourage small investors to pour their savings into the firm. Furthermore, reports indicate she received substantial private retainers from the company's former chairman, Hong Kong businessman Dr. Johnny Hon, while refusing to disclose what actual services she was providing. And liquidator reports from May 2026 show that investigators are aggressively pursuing financial recoveries, turning this failed venture into an active, escalating legal threat. What makes this even more explosive is how that money was allegedly used behind the scenes. According to revelations from royal author Andrew Loney, Sarah Ferguson wasn't just standing by while her family got dragged through public scandals. She was actively pulling the strings. Reports suggest she hired private investigators to dig up dirt on key figures, using proxy figures like Lady Victoria Hervey to push back against allegations and manage public perception in the press. And while Sarah Ferguson scrambles to protect her reputation, a fierce war has broken out inside the palace over how to handle her next move.
She's so desperate that she could possibly do a tell-all Netflix documentary. I mean, could you shed any light on that? I mean, it doesn't sound like she needs the money based on what we've just been discussing.
No, I don't think she needs the money, but I think she wants revenge. She wants to put her side of the story. I mean, ironically, when I actually first approached her, when I started the book, saying that I would give her an opportunity to get her friends to talk to me and to put her side of the story, and she refused. In fact, told her friends not to talk to me. But I think that she feels rather like Andrew, that they've been rather put upon. It's all been rather unfair. She's going to play the victimhood, and I think she will want to get some revenge. And she's certainly been in talks with all sorts of people. In fact, she was coming very close to a deal when my paperback came out with all the revelations about her affair with P. Diddy, and that rather put a dampener on those particular negotiations. But she's always looking to the main chance and for the quick buck. And there are plenty of people who will do a deal with her.
A fierce internal war has broken out inside the palace, and it puts King Charles and Prince William on completely opposite sides. For months, the royal family has been bitterly divided over how to handle Sarah Ferguson and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Reports indicate King Charles wants to manage the situation quietly. He believes in keeping Sarah Ferguson contained, keeping her close enough to prevent her from launching a full-scale public attack on the monarchy. Sources say the king fears that completely cutting her off financially will force her directly into the arms of streaming giants like Netflix. And with her knowledge of private royal life going all the way back to 1985, a tell-all interview could inflict permanent, irreversible damage. Prince William, however, isn't buying it. Insiders reveal Prince William and Kate are taking a strict, hardline stance. Supported by Camilla, they reportedly want a complete purge. Their message to the palace is simple: let her release her documentary, handle the initial fallout, and cut ties once and for all. This bitter disagreement escalated during high-stakes negotiations over the 31-room Royal Lodge in Windsor. King Charles had been spending over £3 million annually on a private 10-man security team for the property after public funding was stripped. But in late 2024, the King officially terminated that multi-million-pound security contract, cutting off the financial funding in an aggressive effort to force the couple out of the grand $38 million estate. In response, Sarah Ferguson allegedly shocked royal aides by requesting Adelaide Cottage, the 4-bedroom Windsor home occupied by Prince William and Kate, if she and Andrew were forced to vacate Royal Lodge. Reports suggest Andrew requested Frogmore Cottage, while Sarah Ferguson eyed Adelaide Cottage for herself, further fueling intense personal anger between the two camps. The palace is essentially split into two factions, one playing for damage control and the other bracing for total separation. And as King Charles and Prince William clash over strategy, Sarah Ferguson's daughters are quietly making moves of their own that could change everything.
Where is Sarah Ferguson now? Do you think that we will see her back in Britain, given that Princess Eugenie has just given birth?
Well, she's with her daughter in Portugal at the moment, and I think we're going to see more of her time being spent in Portugal. I think that's where she's going to base herself.
Sarah Ferguson is holding the ultimate bargaining chip against the palace, and it involves her two daughters. While royal watchers focused on the constant controversies surrounding Sarah Ferguson and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, reports revealed that Sarah Ferguson's primary line of defence has always been protecting Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie.
And one of the pressures on her was what would happen to her daughters. She was very keen that they should remain within the royal family, retain their titles, continue to have free accommodation in royal palaces, though they do no royal duties. And that was always what was kind of keeping her sort of on the straight and narrow. But if she feels that somehow her daughters are being thrown to the wolves, then I think she will come out fighting.
She reportedly made it crystal clear to royal aides that as long as her daughters retained their royal titles, maintained their grand residences inside royal properties, and remained included in family life, she would keep her most explosive stories to herself. But that delicate arrangement is completely shattering. Princess Eugenie and her husband, Jack Brooksbank, have quietly shifted their life overseas to Portugal. They are now raising their 3 children, 5-year-old August, 3-year-old Ernest, and newborn daughter Adelaide, born in August 2026, far away from the daily drama of the palace. Meanwhile, Princess Beatrice and her husband, Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, are balancing life in London with their growing family. But both sisters face immense pressure as their parents' lingering legal and financial troubles threaten their private business ventures. Insiders say both Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are terrified that being associated with their mother's secretive overseas bankrolls and corporate deals could derail their professional careers and private reputations. Reports suggest Princess Eugenie has increasingly distanced herself to forge an independent path, while Princess Beatrice remains fiercely loyal to her parents. Sources indicate that if Prince William and King Charles follow through on plans to strip titles or remove royal housing from the York sisters as part of a smaller, streamlined monarchy, Sarah Ferguson will consider the unspoken deal officially broken. If she feels her daughters are being pushed out or thrown to the public, she is reportedly ready to drop all holdbacks and unleash her side of the story on Netflix, which leads to the ultimate question that could determine the very future of the royal family. Whether Sarah Ferguson actually pulls the trigger on a multi-million-dollar Netflix tell-all or continues using it as a weapon in negotiation, one truth remains entirely clear. The House of York is running out of options. For years, the palace operated under the assumption that financial leverage and royal titles could keep Sarah Ferguson's private stories safely locked away. but with unsealed court documents, offshore money trails, and her daughter's royal standings hanging in the balance, the quiet understanding between Sarah Ferguson and Buckingham Palace has completely broken down. King Charles finds himself caught directly between trying to maintain peace and facing Prince William's vision of a modern, streamlined monarchy that cuts off problem members once and for all. And if Sarah Ferguson decides she has nothing left to lose, her ultimate move won't just expose her own private battles, it could trigger a seismic public fallout that changes the British monarchy forever. What do you think? Is Sarah Ferguson preparing for total revenge, or is she playing one final game of royal chicken with King Charles and Prince William? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If you found this deep dive fascinating, give this video a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update on the biggest royal family news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.